Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video I am going to be showing you guys a game that I played today in person in a tournament. I played a tournament today. There was 4 games. I got 2.5 out of 4, which means I won 2 and I drew 1 and I lost 1. And this was the second round. I was playing white and I won this game. And this was a really special game for me, and you'll find out why. I'm assuming you already know because you read the title or you looked at the thumbnail. But if you didn't do that, you just clicked on this video, then you will find out why. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so I started the game off with e4, king's pawn opening. My opponent played e5, normal stuff. Knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4. I'm playing my Italian game here. Now, if he goes knight f6, then I'm going to play the fried liver attack like this. And he plays bishop c5, which is the second most common move after knight f6. And here there's a lot of options. You can go d3. Whoops, you can go d3, you can go knight c3, you can castle. But the sharpest line here is going c3, preparing for the center push with d4, right? Because if you play d4 right now, you're just going to lose a pawn right away, and there's really no point in doing that. The computer says it's still equal because you can go c3 and play this kind of gambit line, like this. But, you don't want to lose a pawn right away. So, c3, knight f6 is the best move. And then we kind of go into like a top theory kind of game here. E takes d4, c takes d4. The only move here that wins, or like the only move here that draws, everything else kind of loses, is bishop b4 check, right? Because you want to gain a tempo with this move. A lot of people play bishop b6, which, as you can see, is just a mistake. Because now there's like d5. This knight is getting annoyed. If it tries to attack your bishop, then bishop d3, right? e5 is coming, b4 just traps the knight. How are you going to defend that? You have to go c5, and then after here, I'm not going to go there. I'm going to take this or go d6. Then this knight has to come back, and then we go here. You get the point. It's really bad for black. White just has a big center, and it's really bad. So that's kind of the point. So bishop b4 is the only move. Here there's a lot of variations. There's knight bd2, there's knight c3, there's bishop d2. Those are the 3, variations. Nobody really moves this knight because it's already developed. Why would you do that? So I played knight c3, which is the line I studied on ChessReps. Great opening course, website, by the way, chessreps.com. If you want to check it out, I'll put the link in the description. It'll be the first link in the description. So we get knight c3. Okay, he takes my pawn here because, right, I can't take it. It's pinned to the king. So this is the line. Castles. And here he plays a slight inaccuracy. Knight takes c3. The line here goes bishop takes c3, d5, knight here. We take this. Knight takes c4, queen d4, knight here, queen takes here. It's very deep. But that didn't happen. He played knight takes c3. It's like a subline, which is fine. I took back. And here the main move is d5, ignoring this, but instead counterattacking my bishop. So sometimes we get this trade, or other times I move the bishop, and he also moves the bishop, and my opponent's up a pawn, but I have a lot of compensation for it, right? I'm castled already. My knight is active. I have a good center, It's an equal position. Very known and very well played by many players. He plays b takes c3, bishop takes c3, which is a mistake because here I play a brilliant move. And if you'd like to find the brilliant move, you can pause the video here and try to find it. Alright, well, if you've had a chance to look at that, the correct answer is bishop to a3, sacrificing the entire rook. The point is that if you take, you see the evil bar just shoot up like this. It's because there's rook e1 check, right? And you don't want to lose your queen, so you have to block with the knight, but now we just take it, and this queen has nowhere to go. It has to sacrifice itself, and then after we can take here, and now we're just completely winning. We have a queen and a bishop, and they don't have enough compensation for it. So that's kind of the point here. Bishop a3. We're stopping this king from castling, and we're trying to go king rook e1, which we currently can't do because this bishop controls it. But if the bishop takes, then that's the idea. Okay, so going back to bishop a3, this is what I played. This is the first brilliant move I played in this game. By the way, all of this theory I have studied before. D6 is what my opponent played, which it says it's a miss, but I don't think so. D6 is like the best move. Okay, Stockfish says it's the second best move. Sorry, you can't see the slide right now. But apparently d5 is slightly better because it attacks the bishop. And after the bishop moves, you want to take this rook like this. There's still rook e1 though. And then the line goes bishop e6, queen c2. You know, I study all of this in my ChessReps course. He plays d6, which is still fine. Here, I studied this, and I know that the move here is rook c1. And the point is that after the bishop moves, if it moves here, then we just bring the queen, and all the pieces are really active, right? Yes, they're up 2 pawns, but it's kind of like playing a gambit. You're down 2 pawns, but you're castled. All your pieces are developed, while black is still in the center, and their rooks are not connected. This bishop is doing nothing. This queen is doing nothing. You know, it's really good. I kind of forgot about that, and I played a mistake. D5, and here knight e7 is the best move, and now it's back to equal. Now I played rook c1, and if he had just played like, you know, bishop f6 or bishop e5 or something, he would have been completely fine. See, it's still like equal. Instead, my opponent played bishop a5, and yeah, nice little tactic here. Pause the video if you want to spot it. Yeah, so it was queen a4, nice little fork, and this wins the bishop. So the best move here is c6, because after I take, you can take with knight, and I actually only win a pawn. The computer wants like rook e1, not rook e1, rook f d1, and it wants to like attack here. But you know, c6 protects the bishop with the queen like this. But my opponent didn't see that. They went bishop d7, which is a blunder because it, you know, blunders the bishop. So I took the bishop with my queen. Okay, they played b6 to attack it. Queen c3, castles, bishop b2. I'm threatening checkmate here, and then they played f6. And in this position, I played a second brilliant move. Yes, 2 brilliant moves in one game. The first one was right here, bishop a3, sacrificing the rook. And in this position right here, I played a brilliant move. Pause the video and try to find it if you can. There's going to be a lot of these. Pause the video and try to find it in this video. Well, if you've had a chance to look at that, it wasn't too hard to find this time, but the move is knight to g5. This is a brilliant move because technically it looks like you're sacrificing the knight, but it's actually a poisoned knight. You can't take it because then queen takes g7 is just checkmate. Right, the entire point of f6 was to stop the queen from attacking the b7 square with the battery from the bishop, and the knight on g5 is completely safe here because the pawn is, I guess, pinned to the pawn. We could say that. Usually use a pin when it's pinned to like a rook or a queen or something, but technically this is a pin. So, knight g5, second brilliant move here. You can't take it, and the point is I'm trying to go here, and this is a fork, so it's gonna force a trade. And since I'm up material here, I'm up a bishop for a pawn, I think? 3, 6, 7, 5. A bishop for 2 pawns. So since I'm winning here, I want to trade. So that's what knight g5 was doing. And I remember here my opponent was like, what? That's not a free knight. And they were like about to touch the pawn. And then they were like, oh shoot, it's gonna be checkmate. Right? So, yeah. Anyways, let's keep going. So h6, and now I went knight e6, right? The bishop has to take, I take back. d5, attacking the bishop. I move the bishop out of the way. c5, rook f d1. I'm threatening to not take there, but put more pressure on it. d4 attacks the queen. I move the queen. Okay, rook e8. Not really sure what that's doing. Maybe he wants to like move the knight and then, you know, take a attack on the pawn. But you can't really move the knight. Like, let's say I just do some random move. After the knight moves, this is a discovered attack, and that kind of just loses the queen. So not really sure what rook e8 was. Yeah. After this, I just made a waiting move, h3. I kind of wanted to play h3 or g3 or something, you know, sometime, but I didn't know when to do it because, like, you know, my queen was being attacked and I wanted to develop the rook. But I decided this was a good enough time to make a waiting move, just to make sure that, like, if the rooks ever get out of the last row, then if anything ever comes in, it's not checkmate and we can still move the king. He played king h8. I guess it was to get out of this, so he did wanted to move the knight. I went queen d3, and what I'm trying to do here is, after this, I went bishop c2, and I'm threatening checkmate. And you can't stop it by playing g6 or f5, because that would just lose a pawn. When this knight was here, he actually could have played g6, let's say some random move. Here, g6 is possible because the knight is defending it, but now that the knight is moved, it's even better, and you can't play g6. So, my opponent played king g8, and now I invaded with the queen. King f8 is the only move, and in this position, it's plus 7.1. Plus 7.2. I'm up only 1 point of material, but my position is so good right now that it's plus 7.1. I just want to make sure you understand this, okay? Queen h8 check. Only move is king e7. And then I take this pawn. Okay, he takes my e6 pawn. And then here I kind of slipped up a bit. I think the best move was queen g4. Yeah, and then it wants me to keep checking with like the queen and keep the pressure going. I was trying to do the same thing, just I checked it with the rook first. The knight blocks. And then, wait, f4 here just wins the knight because it's pinned to the king. I didn't see that though. My plan of g4 was I wanted to go bishop here, but after the king takes, I don't really have a follow-up. I can do a check, but then the king moves, right? I can't really do anything, so I'm still winning because I can go here and like win material, but you know, it's not as winning. So I wanted to set up bishop f5 by playing g4 so that I can move the bishop there. That was the idea. And then my opponent moved the king out of the way, so this is not a check anymore. Whoops, this is not a check anymore. I went king g2 because now that the knight is not pinned, they're actually threatening to go here, which might be a major problem. Like, let's say I just do some random move. Now, it's actually kind of a problem because after takes, material's actually equal. So, you can't just be like, yeah, whatever, even when you're winning. So, king g2 to stop that. d3 attacks my bishop. And I think here I could have taken this. Oh no, I can't. That was later, sorry. I forgot when it was. Okay, bishop takes e5. I first took the knight, then I took the pawn. Oh no, first I traded, and now I can't take the pawn anymore because the queen can just take back. So instead I checked the king. And my plan was that if the king took here, then now I can take this pawn with check, right? I didn't want to lose a tempo. Like, I didn't want to take the pawn here right now, because then, well, first of all, this loses a bishop, but most importantly, I lose the tempo, right? So if I go here, and even if this bishop was hanging, they could, like, I don't know, go queen d5 check. And in this case, after I go f3, there's no, like, counterattacking chances. But, you know, just a thing to remember is that you should always try to keep the tempo going. So even if you sacrifice a pawn, and after the king takes, queen takes with check was my idea. Anyways, going back, they played king d4. And in this position, I found a third brilliant move. Yes, 3 brilliant moves in one game. If you'd like to find it, pause the video. Alright, if you've had a chance to look at that, the move is not that hard to find, but I hope you saw it. And if you didn't, don't feel too bad. But it's bishop takes d3, sacrificing the bishop. And the point is kind of obvious now that I've showed you. If the king takes, then rook here, right, just wins the queen. And this should be an easy win. Actually, if the king moves to this certain square, after rook takes, this is actually a fork. So it's even easier. But even if the king didn't move there, let's say it went here, this is still completely winning. Queen versus rook. And we're up, I don't know how many pawns. Actually, we're not up any pawns. But, you know, we can take some pawns, we can promote a new queen, and this is completely winning. So, that's the point. You can't take the bishop. Yes, 3 brilliant moves in one game. When I was sitting there in the tournament, I played this move. I was thinking that this might be a brilliant move, but before I have sacrificed pieces and it didn't show up as a brilliant move, so I wasn't sure if it's gonna be one. But yeah, I thought I might have like maybe 1, maximum of 2 brilliant moves, but I had 3. One of them was all the way back here in the opening when I played bishop a3, sacrificing the rook. The second one was knight g5, because if you take, then it's mate. And then the third one is what we just looked at, and the king can't take. So that was my game with 3 brilliant moves. Let's actually just finish off the game here, just to, you know, just see what happened. From here, you can pretty much do anything. I took this, and I'm still threatening rook d1. So my opponent saw that if you take, then this first. But after this, I guess they didn't see that because they just went rook c8, and I still have this rook d1 idea. And then I won the queen. And then queen c7 here is a nice little fork, right? Simplify the position. I took the rook. And then, you know, we were trading pawns, and I took all his pawns. And then I, you know, did the knight tactic to checkmate. I followed, like, wherever the king moves. If it moves up, then you go up. If it goes down, then you go up. I mean, down. And I did that all the way. And then after the king got to the last rank, I started moving my own king forward. And then on the 57th move of the game, queen a5 checkmate. Yeah, so that was my first game ever that I had 3 brilliant moves in. My record before this was 2. I think I got a game like 2023 or 2024 that I had 2 brilliant moves in. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope this was fun. I was really proud of myself for getting 3 brilliant moves. And yeah. Once again, thank you guys for watching, and yeah, let me know how it was in the comment section, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye! Like and subscribe!